Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 7. So let's get to it, shall we? Oh, it is hot as fuck up in this car. Like, it's winter, and I swear it feels like it's 70 degrees. I am really hot. Anyway, you guys, Kenya goes to visit her girl Cynthia because Cynthia needs some help. You know, hashtag chill is going to be spending more time at her home than he had been in the past. So she's got to make space for him in his closet. Or in her closet. So Kenya gets up in there and Kenya's just like, girl, why don't you guys wait until you get engaged before you start making all these big decisions and moves? And Cynthia was like, girl, please. You dated your man for how long? 3 months? Okay, had a baby and everything. Y'all had a long distance relationship. And so if you can do it, I could do it too. I was like, yeah, and you've been in this relationship much longer than Cynthia. I can't get these words together. Kenya has, you know, but she's all like, the engagement is coming. It sure does take the excitement and the punch out of, you know, this engagement impending when Cynthia is so sure that it's about to happen. Like when they were showing the previews for next week and she was just looking so shocked. I was like, girl, please. You done all but shouted it from the rafters that he was going to be proposing soon enough. So like what, that doesn't even, you know, what y'all all screaming and shit about. Anyway, back to this show. So they try to get us to believe that Cynthia is somewhat of a hoarder and just has her shit thrown in the middle of her closet. Really? I'm sorry. Her closet might not be, you know, spectacular and put together like that, but ain't nobody how you even walking through this closet that's actually a room with everything just thrown in the middle of the floor? You got money to have somebody else do it, so I'm not buying it. But whatever, we need something to say on the show. They talk about Marlo's event, and Cynthia was like, well, thanks for the heads up that you was going to be coming in there with a, you know, a full-scale 2-man band. And Kenya was just like, girl, please. I feel sorry for Marlo because Marlo always personally attacks somebody, you know, so it's really hard for anybody to really kind of take Marlo seriously. And Cynthia was like, yeah, girl. And she was up in there, you know, talking crazy out the side of her neck, you know, saying that you was paying child support. And Kenya was just like, girl, much like the 80-year-old dick that she sleeps with, she pulls a lot of comments out of her ass. I was just like, why we got to be so vulgar? Child, I will never get used to them being able to say dick on TV. Cynthia said that she wanted to confront Marlo about this recording, but she didn't have the chance because, you know, the band came in. But she still feels like she talked to Yovanna. She asked her if she recorded her, and she said no. So the only person that's left is Marlo. And, you know, although she thought Marlo was a changed person, maybe she isn't, okay? She got to keep her good eye on Marlo because Marlo be doing the most, you know, as Nene's new lap dog. But yet and still, she's salty with Marlo for not even telling her about this. Like, even if you didn't, you knew about it because Candy knew. So if Candy knew, Marlo knew, so she could have gave Cynthia a heads up. I don't know. I mean, is that Marlo's really her responsibility? Like, you know, anyway. What's been going on with you, Kenya? Oh, you know, Kenya and her real difficult marriage. You know, it's just like Michelle Obama said, you know, because she just like Michelle Obama. Let me not laugh. Okay. But it's difficult. You know, they've got to learn how to argue with each other, you know, but it's nothing like teamwork, even when you guys are at odds. And it doesn't seem like Mark and Kenya are able to ever get to that point to call themselves a team. I mean, hell, has it been a year? I guess it's been a year. It's definitely been a year, but it's just sort of like, girl. Okay, so yeah, Kenya and Mark are still trying to figure it out. Hashtag Chill has made it to Atlanta. All right, and him and his best good girl, they are out. They're about to meet Eva and the other Mike out for lunch, okay, at some place. I thought it was a bowling alley, and I was like, no, Eva can't bowl. So they showed these bowling pins, and I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't quite sure what it was, but we'll find out in a minute what exactly it is. So hashtag Chill and Cynthia get there first, and then right behind them comes Eva and Mike. We sit down and we talk about this whole recording of Cynthia. Now, Mike, you know, as a lawyer, he says that, you know, it's just not legal for a person to be, you know, recording somebody and the other person not aware that they're being recorded. It's one thing to be overheard. It's another thing, I guess, to be recorded. And Eva still has, you know, her issues with wig. You know, that wig can sit on the top of her head. And okay, I tell you, she must have sat down and had a zinger for every person, you know, listed 10. Her people told her, make sure that you can read everybody at any given time, okay? So she's insistent on talking about, anyway, she's mad about Nene and what happened over there by Candy's OLG restaurant when, Nene didn't tell her that the cameras were still rolling, that she had her mic on, I should say, that the mic was still going. So, hashtag chill, he mad, this his girl, okay, this his lady, and he don't appreciate it, he gonna get to the bottom of this, and that person is full of shit. And I said, okay, hashtag chill, you better stand up for your girl. Okay, and again, Cynthia tells them the same thing that she told Kenya, that Yvonne said she didn't do it, and that only leaves Marlo as the new lapdog. Okay, I think Cynthia's feeling a little something about being replaced. I shouldn't say. Actually, she probably ain't, because when you get you a man and your man is feeling you and you feeling your man, honey, you think you can tackle this world, okay? Trying to figure out their relationship as well and where they're gonna be, as opposed to hashtag chill is in LA with work. Cynthia is in Atlanta with work. I think Cynthia's only needs to be in Atlanta for the 6 months or so that they are recording, but also that's actually not true, because they do a lot of promotion during the time that they are, the show is on. And of course they got to do the reunion and everything. So really it does take up like a good probably a good 9 or 10 months of their life. So really Cynthia needs to be here in Atlanta. And so I guess it will be difficult. The good thing about it is everybody got some fucking money. So, if you got to be flying back and forth, even though that is a long ass, that flight from LA to Atlanta, that's 4.5 hours, 5 hours. Like, that shit is tiring. So I guess, and then trying to readjust to the time difference, that shit can be draining. So they're going to have to figure it out. But I'm sure that they will. But I do believe that Cynthia will not be moving to Los Angeles as long as she is on this show. Not permanently. Not full time, I should say. Now, getting back to Kenya. Kenya feels like she's got to protect her and Brooklyn's interest in this marriage. Maybe she did kind of act a little hastily when she got with Mark, and now she's kind of feeling like, oh, I need to make sure that me and the baby is okay. So she goes to see her attorney, and they sit down and they just kind of talk shop about what exactly needs to happen here. Her assets. She's got this house that she bought for somewhere like $500,000 is now worth almost $2 million. Okay. She's got her hair care line. I don't know how well or how bad her hair care line is doing, but that's her business. And she wants to also make sure that whatever comes from that business goes directly to her daughter. Very much understandable. Okay. For the life of me, I can't understand why celebrities wouldn't get a prenup. It absolutely baffles me. Okay. Even motherfuckers that's broke or, just doing okay, probably should have a prenup in these days. But for a celebrity who has, ain't no way I would give, I'm telling you, Rocky love, I want every motherfucker to be in love. Y'all know all of that. But ain't no way that I would get myself wrapped up with somebody and not have a prenup in place. There's just absolutely no way. I can't believe that Kenya, got that swept up in love, okay, and didn't protect herself. Like, they making all this mention about these kids, and she's evidently, Mark has kids, right? So now the attorney was telling her how if something happened to her, and they don't have anything in place, then not only is the shit's divided between Brooklyn and Mark, okay, and you see where you guys' relationship is, but it also could possibly go to the kids. I'm sure there would be circumstances where that would happen, but it could go to his other kids that ain't even got shit to do with Kenya. So I'm baffled. So the lady tells her that she can do a living trust will. She can kind of figure out exactly how she wants her money to be distributed or things to happen. If you wanted to go directly to Brooklyn and that's it, we can do that too. But we have got to get this on paper. So, Kenya gets all emotional. It's so hard. You wouldn't think that it's going to turn out like, girl, you better bash Mrs. Head in and worry about later. Okay, girl, it ain't time for you to be doing all of this. You better make sure that you get your monies together, because even though 1.8 million, you know, might not be a lot to some people. That's more than a whole bunch of people have, okay? And you would want your children or your child to have the stuff that you worked hard for to leave for you. So, you know, just like, no. You get on through these emotions and then get the business straight. So the lady says she's gonna send her some emails and, you know, kind of tell her all of the things that she needs to think about, and then they're gonna get a contract written up so we can get this shit signed pronto. I said pronto with the quickness. You better protect yourself, Kenya and baby Brooklyn. Now we see Candy and Todd, and you know, Riley calls and she's all, can I buy this? So she's on FaceTime, but we can't really see her. And you know, but Todd is like, well, how much is it? Like he got some say. Whatever it is, it's $168. Candy was just like, no, you gotta use your own money. We ain't just buying whatever $168 damn dollars is costing over there, but whatever. It is so hot. Can you guys see that I'm starting to get all glistening? Todd leaves on out, and Candy has her girl Karma over. Child, we ain't seen Karma ever since she stopped working for Candy. Y'all know that Karma has her own, I think, insurance company. She's doing well from what I understand, so good for Karma. But every now and then she got to come on the show and you know, just kind of show her face. So it was good to see her. Karma told Candy that Todd called her, and I said, oh, listen, now we done went through this for some years now. Fuck is he calling you for? You don't work with them. Todd called me yesterday and told me that he bought a tractor trailer, and Candy was just like, girl, Todd with all of these businesses, I appreciate the hustle, but he wants to have a Mexican food place and he wants to open a breakfast OLG. From what I understand, the OLG is doing very well for breakfast. So he's trying, that's his next venture. And Candy's just like, he's all over the place. I said, Todd said he got to secure his bag too. Okay, so I ain't mad, you know, and if he wasn't doing nothing, then niggas be talking, complaining that he was sitting around doing nothing. So what you want the poor boy to do? Karma says, well, what about the baby's room? Yes, we gonna get Kayla's room together. Okay, and that's another thing. Kayla's about to leave for New York. I guess they've decided that they're gonna put the baby in Kayla's room. And she's kind of feeling a little funny about Kayla leaving to New York. We just had a situation just recently. They was not talking for just like a month. And so now I'm worried that while she's gone, if this is going to make it even longer that they talk to each other. For whatever reason, she says that Todd just wants Kayla to be independent, which I understand. But when you are living in a household where, you know, there's an abundance of certain things, and then you're denying your child to be having the same, you know, Candy doesn't want to overstep. Okay. And so Todd says that she don't need this, she don't need that, she don't need this, but then you giving it to Riley. Even if Riley is not Todd's daughter, you know, I would imagine that that would make things kind of weird. You know, even Candy said that Riley and Kayla are not close. I mean, they probably don't not like each other, but they just not homegirls like that, you know, which I can imagine because they seem like two very totally different personalities. Y'all, I got to turn on this air. I can't, I'm sorry, it's hot. I ain't even got no damn gas for this. Ooh! Y'all see my everything real close. Turn on this air, turn that on, blow this here. Oh God, the work fruits. Ooh, child, it's hot. Oh, y'all see that air coming? Bitch, it is hot. Ooh. I got my sweater on, I got my wrap. All is about to sweat out my bangs. Let's get it together. Let me get it together. So what I was saying was, for whatever reason, Todd and Kayla just can't seem to get on the same page. I can understand this dynamic. Mr. Don't always understand Jake. He be like, and I be trying to explain to him, you know, how she is, and he just don't understand, and the child, it be all of that. So yeah, somebody in my comments told me the other day, they were like, Roxanne, you live with 3 fire signs, 2 Aries and a Leo. And I was like, well, you know what, you are exactly right. And here I am, just a low Leo, you know, chilling earth sign. Okay, I don't be all of that be going on, all that fire and shit that be going on in there. I just be like, okay, that's y'all. That's y'all. Very strongly opinionated 3 people. Bless their heart. I love my family to death, y'all. It's the way. And so the day comes that Kayla's about to go to New York. Candy is smart, honey. She got some big old white woman that's in there as her, I guess, her nanny and all of that. Okay, absolutely no threat of Todd trying to sleep with the nanny. Okay, although, honey, you can't tell with these niggas these days. But anyway, Kayla says she's nervous about going to New York, but you know what? At least her mom is there. You know, she has her mom, and her mom seem to be pretty close. Todd is not even there to see her off. He's out of town on business. So Candy is actually the one that's going to be taking her to the airport, and Candy would be like, do you think you're going to miss us? And first Kayla was just like, yeah, I will. I mean, you know, she will actually miss them, I'm sure. But maybe she's also looking forward to the change, especially when you just ain't really feeling, you know, one of the parents. Maybe everybody just need a little space. And maybe, you know, what do they say about absence making the heart grow fonder? That's true for your children, too. Okay? Until they come back, and then you be ready for them to go again. Woo! My babies is home from college. I'm so glad. Both Joe and Jada. You know, it's been nice having them back. Candy and Kayla seem to be okay, but like I said, they probably can be closer, and you know, it probably isn't because one, she came in as an older child. I mean, she was 16 years old. This child is already formed what she gonna be, what she gonna think, and all of that. On top of that, you know, trying to be hands off as far as Todd is concerned, that probably has kept them from getting as close as they could be. But listen, I'm gonna tell Candy like how my mama used to do me, honey. Even though my dad was quite generous, but my mom, you know, she would always slide me a little bit of something extra. Okay, just give you that closed hand, you know, when you leaving out the house, you know, she come walk up to you, she just put that money in your pocket. You don't say shit, okay, because that was between you and your mama, all right? Candy could do that same thing for Kayla. I bet you she wouldn't say nothing to Todd. Now we see Nene. She's at the house with Greg. And, you know, Greg is making her some drinks. I thought that she was having one of her girls over. But, oh, no, she's having Tamara, who is her life coach, over. Child, I thought it was going to be Deshae that was her life coach. Y'all know that's what Deshae doing. Remember the first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta? Now she's a life coach because she's been through so much shit, okay, that now she can coach y'all on y'all lives, okay? Did you guys see that picture I posted of her on my Instagram? I still couldn't believe that was her. I was just like, first of all, she is like 4 shades lighter than she normally is. I was just floored. You know, she looked good. She just didn't look like herself. I mean, totally different. But it's amazing with makeup and lightened skin. I mean, I think it was the picture because she's obviously not that light when you see her. Anyway, I'm getting off track. She's a life coach now, so you guys can look up Deshae if you know you need to get your life in order as well. But anyway, back to this life coach, Tamara. She's there. And, you know, after Greg gives them they lemonade, you know, Tamara wants to know what's going on in Nene's life. And Nene says that life is good right now. You know, she feels like Greg, he did admit to some things. And for her, a lot of times it's just admitting. I hope I'm not blowing into the... Let me move this down because... Okay. Sometimes you just got to admit that you said or did something, and that made Nene feel pretty good. So that was some closure on their, you know, relationship, the bumps and the bruises that it was going through last season. But now she's ready to get the sisterhood back. I said, oh, it must be something when ain't nobody feeling you on the show. Okay, although I don't think that Nene, you know, like Candy doesn't care, but Nene, it's not good when you are at odds with your whole entire you know, it's not good when with your co-stars, because then there's nobody for you to film with. And if you have enough of that nobody for you to film with, then what the fuck you on the show for? Okay, so even though it's not at that point, Nene is not threatened to be off of the show, obviously, but we can't even let it grow. So we're gonna have to figure out how to fix this shit. Okay, so she wants the sisterhood back, but she's not quite sure what she should be apologizing for. And so the life coach tells her that she needs to just kind of own up to her part in certain things. Maybe you could have handled things a little bit differently. Now they're about to go on this trip, and Nene is already not feeling all that sure about this trip because just at Marlo's event the other day, you know, Kenya cut the fool and brought her two-man band in there. And, you know, Nene said that she's been there before. She's done this before. You know, it was almost like a trigger. She felt like she could have went off on Kenya, but instead she just left. She just removed herself. And, you know, she's not sure if the girls understood exactly why she did something like that. It's more to protect her energy and not necessarily trying to just be like, I'm above this. So we got to kind of get the girls on the right page of what exactly, you know, Nene is feeling and doing at these days. You know, the life coach tells her, well, why don't you just call everybody and just see how everybody feels about you ahead of time. Okay, that way we can, when we get on this trip, you know, everybody's kind of clear on how we feeling. I said, Nene calling everybody? Child, I want to see that one happen. All right, you guys. And then we see Porsha. She's meeting Marlo. Okay, you guys know that trolley that you see in the cities, usually in downtown, where people are paddling the trolley. It looks like maybe about 12 people can sit on the trolley, and they be drinking, and they had a hookah and all of that. Okay, that's what Marlo and Porsha are doing. But it was surprising to see Porsha with Marlo. Marlo and I did not always get along. Okay, and we see all the clips of Porsha and Marlo getting into it. Okay, what Marlo does best. She's been in it with everybody pretty much. I let her know that I was kind of standoffish because I didn't know what to expect. Didn't know if this bitch was going to be coming correct that day or not, because you guys know whatever way Marlo wakes up is kind of how she rolled that day. Okay, but when they got together, just the two of them, you know, she loved Marlo. And I think that's how most of them are with Marlo. Marlo puts on something extra, especially if Nene's around, then it just gets completely off track. But, okay, so they on this trolley. While they're talking, Marlo is trying to get to the root of what's going on with Dennis and Porsha. I know this group of girls, they're not always truthful with each other. We're not open. We don't tell each other what's happening. Okay, well, why do you guess, Marlo? Because you throw it in their face and you tell them that they're living beneath their means and that they are trash and that they are liars and all of this. I mean, I wouldn't be all that open either. But Porsha says, Marlo, it is nothing personal, but nobody wants to keep telling the same story over and over, especially when it's negative. You know, I'm not really trying to tell you that there's rumors going around and my man was fucking somebody and it was bestiality and he liked to see horses and donkeys. And no, we're not trying to do that. Okay, so y'all got the gist of what's happening because it's all over the blogs. What else do I need to say? But Marlo is saying how the girls have been there for each other in the past. Look at Nene. And Porsha says, I've been that person for Nene, okay? I just wanted to make Nene feel good. All right, like Halle Berry and... oh, getting off track. What movie was that? Monsters Ball? Please make me feel good. Just make me feel good. Girl, that was the most cringiest scene ever. And everybody says that's what won her Oscar. Anyway, she used to be the little sister to Nene's big sister. And, you know, when Nene went off on her and was calling her fat and she had just had the baby and all of that, like, no, that's not how real friends act, okay? I think that if you are a real friend, you learn how to pick your battles and choose wisely when to have one. And I agree totally. Even when you mad at your friends, you don't go off on them like that. Like, but I feel like girls, we deal with this shit with men. We deal with it. They give us all kind of diseases and everything. But we cut our girlfriends off. And I was just like, I hate when women say these kind of things. Because the fact of the matter is, I'm not in love with you, girl. I'm in love with my man, okay? My man fucked around and he betrayed me in a way that you never could, okay? If I have all these feelings invested in him different from what I feel from you, okay? There is no comparison when we talking about me cutting off a friend who done did some shit to me and cutting off my man that did some shit to me. Some would say one is more important than the other, but what I'm saying is they're not the same. Friendships are important to me, but my relationship is totally different. There is just totally different. There's an intimacy there that I'm just gonna look at it differently. A lot of people probably wouldn't agree with me, but a lot of times you will go with your girlfriends who is full of shit too, okay? Cut your man off, and then later on you be regretting that you made that decision. I've seen it happen personally to some of my friends. So, it's just, It's not a comparable moment is what I'm trying to say. And Porsha was just like, fuck that. I'm not gonna let him treat me any old kind of way, and I'm gonna be okay with that. All right, I got a daughter that I need to remember who's gonna be looking at me in the future and wondering why is mommy putting up with all this bullshit. So no. Okay, so while they're riding around, they happen in the area of Dennis's hot dog place, and she was just like, really, bitch, Marlo? I don't want to go in here. Okay, they're going to Dennis's place. Now, Dennis is not necessarily there, but they're going to still go in there and have something. So she goes in there, you know, she want a Chicago, she want this, put all the fixings and all of that. And Marlo's just like, I'm going to FaceTime Dennis. Come on, Porsha, tell him you love him. And Porsha was just like, I'm not doing that. Oh, come on, you say, I love you, Dennis. We not doing the I love you thing, Marlo. Don't try to force this. I thought it was interesting that Marlo just loves Dennis to death, okay? Whenever Marlo loves somebody to death, that makes me raise an eyebrow because Marlo always seems to have something else up her sleeve. She's hard to trust to me, even though I really do like Marlo. Okay, but I only trust her as far as I can throw her, and that's a big bitch. And Marlo wants to know why you can't tell him that you love him. And she was just like, because I got a meeting with Dr. Sherry coming up, and I plan on putting all of this on the table for me and Mr. Dennis. We're going to have to figure some shit out because we can't keep going on this way. But no, we're not doing I love you today. So then we see Porsha. She goes down to Dr. Sherry's. Oh, Porsha, you look great. Whatever you're doing, you look good. Tell me, how have you been doing? So while Portia's about to sit there and tell her, you know, then we see Dennis coming. I said, if he don't look like a fucking superintendent. That nigga got a ring of keys on his side. He had his damn sweatsuit on. That shit is zipped all the way up to the top, ill-fitting, big stomach, you know. I was like, if he ain't just some old regular nigga, I know something. You know, he come on in there looking like he just collected the rent some damn where. Dr. Sherry's just like, oh, you know, I'm so glad you came. I was just talking about you. Come on in. I'm sure this can't be easy. No, it's not easy because Dennis said that he made a mistake, and Porsha was just like, okay. That is not a mistake. A mistake is missing your exit on the freeway, okay? This here is a conscientious decision to go fuck around while I was pregnant, after I had my baby. You know, we basically were together the whole time. Like, it wasn't like we was having problems. But you know what? This is the interesting thing about men and women. And I know this from my own experience, too. Men and women see problems totally different, okay? Like, what you might think is okay, a man doesn't, or vice versa. And so what ends up happening is once you find out when the shit goes down, you know, you'll be so floored because you don't be knowing that all this was even going through the other person's mind. You just be thinking like, what? Okay, so, and that right there, I think, is also a communication problem because a lot of times people don't talk. And so if you don't talk, then you don't have any idea what the other person is thinking. If they just going along with the flow and all of this, you know, they're going to be there. They're going to do whatever you want them to do. But when they're away from you, they're going to fuck around and do whatever they feel like doing. Okay, and that's when you get confused. It'll be so confusing to you, you know, but I think but I think underneath all of that is because there's a communication problem. So that might be a big thing of what Porsha and Dennis has. Okay, so she's offended when you say that it was a mistake. You need to take accountability and stop trying to diminish the fact that you just fucked around, period. Okay, he said it was a rough pregnancy, it was hard. She was like, we had sex the whole time. Like, what was so rough about it? Well, Dennis, I think it's harder for her because you were right by her side the whole time. And you still messed around. Do you understand that she would feel a certain way when you were always there but also messing around? And he says that he does understand. But he kind of looks like he's at that point where he's just sort of like, okay, I'm just going to let her. I think that it's an unwritten rule that when the man cheats, or when whoever cheated, if it's the man or the woman, then the person that was cheated on needs to get you just go, if you really want this to work, you're gonna have to give them they got to be able to say and do whatever the fuck they want to say. I mean, you know, of course, you know, within reason, but you got to give them that because you have done so much. You've betrayed the trust. You know, it's like I told you guys before, you know, you can have a beautiful vase, you can throw that shit on the ground, it could shatter in a million pieces. You can gather up all of them million pieces and glue that shit together meticulously, but you don't trust that fucking vase no more because it got little teeny little bitty holes in there that there's no way that the glue could have taken care of, and the water can leak out, and it still is not a trustworthy vase anymore. Okay, real pretty on the outside, you put that shit together, but when you get close, it's not together. Okay, it's the same way you treat your relationship. You don't trust them anymore. Okay, as much as they look good and they say all the things that they want to say and do, you just don't trust it, and you got to take a long time to build that trust back up. Okay, so that's all we got to do here. That's all we got to do. Porsha still wants to think about her daughter, you know, and her daughter seeing that she just took back a cheating ass nigga, you know, in 20 years. Is that the kind of image that she wants her daughter to see? Well, I mean, we have to take into consideration what our kids do, but we also have a life to live, and you know, we made mistakes just like our parents made mistakes, just like their parents made mistakes. You know, you just would hope that you would make better decisions as life goes on. But, you know, yes, definitely have to be a good example for your children, but you also have to understand that we are human and we make mistakes, and we would hope that our children understand that as they become adults. They won't understand it when they're younger. But honey, I understand so much more about my parents than I ever did when I was younger. Ever. Okay? Yeah, you learn a lot. And what about the love? You know, do you still love him? And, you know, Porsha was just like, I don't want to give him that because I feel like if I say I love you, that's me giving him something to kind of make him feel better. Like, you ain't did nothing to make me feel good. I'm not making you feel good right now. Again, understandable. Ain't no way I would be saying I love you right now. Okay, well, can we just get a hug out of it? You know, she going and give him the little, you know, hug you real fast, lay her stomach on his belly. Pat, 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 you know. And then when they leave, you know, Dennis was like in the car with her. And so I figured he must have got dropped off or something. Because why are you guys in the car together? They didn't have time enough to be trying to, you know, set up 2 different cars and all of that. Just get in the car with him. She tells him thanks for being truthful in there. You can tell Porsha really wants to work it out. We just got to go through this. So thanks for being truthful in there. And he tells her she looks good and can he come over? Boy, no. I was like, that little smirk that you gave, I'm wondering. All right, you guys, that's it. So can you guys see the ombre better now? I just washed it, and for whatever reason, I think you can see the color difference. Because somebody was like, is it black on the top and brown on the bottom? I was like, it is ombre, you guys. It's just kind of hard to see. I'll keep on looking in the camera here, but I actually should be looking over here. So anyway, you guys, I'm going to get off of here. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.